Anyway, you were telling the.
Yeah, fucking shit. I went homeless a few times. There was a time where we went up to this fucking one shelter, and dear God, was it fucking rigged weird. Like, the one fucking counselor there kept telling me I was the one being emotionally abused, while the two chicks that ran the place were telling me how much of a scumbag I was because death to the evil penis. So yeah, that was a beautiful time. And and my daughter was like, toddler, 2 years old. She climbed up the stairs without me knowing. And after people had told me, "Oh, we're watching your daughter, we're watching your daughter," and then all of a sudden I look, she's not there, and I go looking for her. Then all of a sudden I hear something tumbling down the stairs, and there she is at the bottom of the stairs, and I see the fucking crackhead that's staying at the shelter run back up. So I know that like she got up the stairs, and the fucking crackhead pushed her down because the crackhead wanted downstairs. Then the crackhead realized that like she gone fucked up. So back to her room with her, so that way she wouldn't be accused. Now I'm the one being blamed. After everyone there said they were going to help me watch my daughter while I was sitting there, reassured me, but I'm the devil. So they wouldn't even let me fucking hold my own daughter at this point, trying to comfort her. And whenever my wife finally got back from her job, and we took my daughter up to the hospital. She got checked out. Everything ended up being fine. She had a lazy eye, which she eventually got surgery for. But, other than that, she was okay. It's just fucked up the way that these people structured everything to fucking say death to him. And it was immediately after this shelter that we still didn't have our shit together. My wife ended up getting fired from her job. So we're still in an unstable place. I end up moving in with my mom while she stays at a fucking women's battered shelter, which, I couldn't go visit her because, the sight of a man might trigger the women and what all. But like she would still come out of the, place she was staying and, see me and shit. And eventually we talked my mother's landlord and letting her stay there with the kid. And this when I got my job at Walmart, and we eventually moved out. We started renting the place, and we had free rent for a few months because we were fixing up the house that we were going to be renting. And whenever 9/11 happened, I remember I got into the fucking bins because I had fucking pre-ordered the fucker anyway. Slayer's fucking God Hates Us All. And
That's a good old groovy time.
and before they even put it out in the fucking shelves, I fucking, went in the back of the store, when I was putting away my fucking tools from assembling bikes, went over to where they kept the fucking bins for the music they were going to be putting out that day. Took out my copy of it, went up, paid for it, got home. I remember I was sitting there just listening to it with the fucking news muted. And then they're like, God hates us all. And that's when I saw footage of the first plane hitting the building. All I did was say, damn fucking straight. Of course, as the day progressed, I said, hey, look, there might call a fucking state of fucking martial law. So let's just fucking move into our house now. I'll get some quick essentials real quick, and we'll at least be safe in our house,
Yeah, well, yeah, I understand why you would think that because nobody knew what was going to happen next
Mm-hmm.
if they were going to strike
And,
again.
one of the plane that crashed in PA was like fucking real damn close to where we were at. So that was a reason.
That would be in. I used to remember the town, but I don't remember
Mm.
some one horse fucking.
Yeah, it is a one horse fucking place. But still, I fucking forget the name of the place, but I know I'd been there many a times driving. Back roads getting high.
The funny thing is, you're from Pennsylvania, and Scott and I were looking at because he wants to go to a race up in Indiana. He doesn't know where though, and he's probably going to go to some local oval track race. And I was like, "Well, shit! If you were in Pennsylvania, you'd have no problem because that's like the home of sprint car. Well, Eastern Pennsylvania, but that's like there's a lot of tracks there. I just thought it was funny that, like, you know, and Scott was looking. I was like, well, you should live where Jim's living.
Oh well, let's get back to the fun here. Now, the
I heard,
shitty
well,
parts of my life are talked about.
yeah, I mean, well, yeah, that's why I just, that's the. I think Scott needs to hear the don't, because
Mm-hmm.
although I think Scott needs to be punched in the face too, but that's another story.
Yeah, polite society will fucking burn you because you can never be clean enough. It's worse than seeking absolution, because at least with absolution, you just got to pay $5 to Jesus.
True, or take the fucking 12 steps called and believe what it says.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, that fucking warped my brain. But there was an interesting point where, like, I'd gone through the Bible, I was so into their shit and everything, and I was so charismatic and everything that a few times they had asked me to do the morning sermon there. And my sermons were always about the false teachers. I would fucking bash people fucking looking just for money. I would using Bible passages to do that. I'd bash them for saying the wrong shit, just believing prophecy because someone claimed to be a prophet and all that. All this shit that just fucking kicked fucking false teachers and false preachers that were recorded in the Bible using verses to back everything I was saying. It was always, attack the religion, attack, and when in doubt, attack again. Those were my fucking sermons.
Damn.
And the funny part was we went to this one church that had a prophet in it, and one of them said that the fire of Christ would be burning from my belly and I would spew forth the word like none other, essentially confirming that I would be a prophet.
Well, how did that work out?
Well, whenever I got out of the fucking 12-step cult, because oh God, the entire thing was I woke up one morning, said to myself, I need a hit of acid. And even back when I was fucking partying my ass off, eating acid every other day, I would say things like, I would like a hit of acid. I want a hit of acid. It'd be nice to have a hit of acid. I never once felt a physical need to have a hit of acid until that one day in the 12 Steps According to Jesus cult that I woke up and felt it. I sat there and said to myself, wait a minute, I never felt this before. What the fuck changed? Oh, the 12 Steps According to Jesus telling me you want it, but you can't have it. You want it, but you can't have it. You want it, but you can't have it. You need it, but you can't have it. Okay, well, I'm fucking out of here.
Sorry, Drinking Rockstar. Yes, it's a very destructive thought process, I've always thought. It's a very destructive...
I mean, the most destructive thing, I forget which step it is. It's one of the first three that says you are powerless over your problem.
Well, yeah, South Park parodied it, I think, very nicely. The whole "you're powerless over." I really, really, really have to take a piss. But I think South Park parodied the whole powerless thing quite well. Where they thought the Virgin Mary statue bleeding was a sign of God, but it turns out it was just on her period. And oh no, we have to get back to drinking now. And Stan's father wasn't really an alcoholic, but became an alcoholic because he was brainwashed to believe he was powerless to actually do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that I know friends who went into AA and came out either religious or AA junkies, and I know people who went into an even more extreme Christian version of AA, like an overtly Christian Jesus version of AA, like your thing, and came out like full-blown zombie Jesus freaks, and we never saw them again.
See, the funny thing is, I still kept in contact with the old friends I had throughout the whole thing because, they were cleaning up their acts because they had jobs, families, and shit. And, and they knew what they could get away with me because where the hell I was staying, that they would fucking piss test and all that shit.
Yeah.
still, it was funny. I was staying at this shelter, and if I fucking pissed dirty, I was out. And if I tested positive for alcohol, I was out. Meanwhile, I went to my one buddy's wedding while I was there, and I got fucking shit-faced. But because I crashed at my mom's pad for one night, because that's all they could afford, because it was a full house at the time, I had the alcohol flushed out of my system by the time I got back, and they piss tested me for it.
Nice.
So
I cleaned up my act after Puke died, not out of choice, but just everyone left. So I was like, well, nothing else to do. So I just kind of went to my room and kind of disappeared for a few months. Just 2012 to 2015 was were a period of time where I remember races, but not much else. I don't actually remember like me living, But and then about May of 2015, I woke up and was like, wait, what? I mean, I remember going to races and having fun, but I don't remember anything else or any of the decisions I made until they all kind of came. It wasn't like I was, amnesia. It was just that, I was just, living a weird life. But I'm back to normal now, even more hateful than I used to be.
This is good.
Yep.
Fucking shit. And hell. So I was working this job immediately after fucking moving out of the fucking shelter. Well, almost immediately. Told I was according to Jesus, trying to get my brain back in shape. And the job was telesurveys. I would call people and ask them what their TV viewing habits were to see the effectiveness of fucking various advertising. And it was just really interesting getting a glimpse of different people across the fucking US, here, there, everywhere. And it was like fucking wild. Like I talked to a fucking porn director, and that was a wild fucking conversation, talking about how all he did was watch porn. He didn't care about TV except for occasional news, which since he watched some news, I could include him in the fucking survey because, local TVs needed the data to see the effectiveness of advertising. And there was a bunch of people, and I would fucking do anything to get that fucking survey going once I started getting it going. And whenever I got to a certain point, I would start rattling off the survey. Did you watch, Channel 6 News, blah, 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 blah. It's Channel 8 News, blah, 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 Channel 12 News, blah, 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 blah. And just fucking fly through this thing as quickly as possible so I could get all the data I needed. And, oh, man, I talked to this one redneck. Oh, no, actually, I think it was a hillbilly. And he fucking, lived on his own land. He had a TV, which picked up 2 stations. So, that qualified him. And, talked to him about, all his viewing habits, which is like 2 shows in an entire month, which is fine. That worked for the data. And, like, he was telling me about his old fucking war stories and shit. And how he was there. That was And the whole thing was we never once asked for money. That wasn't our job. We weren't telemarketers. We were telesurveyors. We just kept asking the marketing questions.
I bet that was an interesting job. I did not hear any of your story. I'll listen to it back, obviously.